This has been the biggest week for Minecraft announcements in a very long time. In just a single snapshot / Bedrock preview, we now have access to a new use for desert wells and desert temples. We have a brand new gameplay mechanic in its entirety. We have over 20 brand new blocks, as well as a brand new mob to go with it, as well as an entire new biome and block set. It is truly incredible what they've added in just this single Bedrock beta, and I want to show you around all of it. But first, we need to start by mentioning that all of these features have come to both Bedrock and Java, with the key exception being the cherry blossom biome. So I'll have to leave behind the beautiful, beautiful desert wells, oh how I love you so much, and instead go into the cherry blossom biome as it exists in 1.20. So this is actually called the cherry grove biome, and this is one from afar. You can see it's a relatively small biome. This is seemingly how it exists, and it's also a relatively rare biome in the current snapshot state that it is in. However, the big thing that you'll probably notice is because there are brand new pink leaves and there's also brand new pink wood, that means we have a whole brand new block palette to play around with. And if you look at the major colors as they exist in Minecraft, you can see how we've basically got a major type of wood for every color now, which is really, really cool to see. I mean, we're basically only missing a super, super dark black style wood and a green wood. So I'm just saying, given that we've had 5 woods in the last 5 updates, 1.21, maybe we get an azalea wood that's green or something else altogether and finish off the set. But yeah, yellow and pink wood are both coming in 1.20. It's not just one or the other. In fact, because there are 2 types of bamboo, there's the mosaic blocks as well as the bamboo, you really have another 3 block palettes to play around with, and I have to say, these work really well together. You might think of yellow and pink as being opposing, but strawberry and banana are actually really nice colors once you mix them in this beautiful way. I think it's really, really nice to see, and maybe you disagree, but maybe instead you'd like to see what a house can look like when you use every single block. So this is obviously just me going very over the top. I love the look of the new wood, the black, the block as it exists, but it also looks really nice stripped. The planks also look really good, the fences, it's all looking super fun. And a lot of people say Minecraft looks modded when they see brand new blocks like this, but this to me looks like a texture pack. This to me looks like something that isn't necessarily normal yet, but I'm excited to see what it would be like when it's normal. But again, right now, you're looking at all the new blocks, you might be much more interested in seeing what it's actually like in a cherry blossom biome, so allow me to give you a full explanation of that. Wow, what a seamless transition that was. I'm sure you couldn't even tell that it's not the same world. Anyway, so this is what a actual cherry blossom biome looks like when you're exploring it in real survival. They are relatively small when you see them from far, but from up close, you can see it's a cherry it's full of cherry blossoms. It's super nice. And honestly, my first impression when seeing it from the ground rather than from above is to say this takes a lot of elements from the birch forest, rip birch forest, concept art, not a commitment, but it takes a lot of those elements and makes them honestly better. Look at the flowers on the ground. These are things you can pick up if you really want to. They are the pink petals, and wow, aren't they cute? Look at the cherries, look at the kind of blossoming coming from the trees. It's super, super nice, right? I like a lot of what I'm seeing right here. Obviously, the standout feature are these brand new wood blocks, which you can get your hands on. But the other weird thing is because this is a grove biome, and I guess because it's on mountains for a lot of the part, this is a brand new place where you go. Also, by the way, there are bees here. That's a part of the biome identity. But also, while you're here, you can find yourself not just coal, not just iron, but also you can find emeralds. So going to the pink blossom biome is a great place to enrich yourself, as it so turns out. Feels very weird, but is very real, and it's something you can give a try if you really want to in Minecraft 1.20. And so right now, this is only available in the snapshot because they have to do some technical improvements to the architecture on Minecraft Bedrock to allow this new biome to exist, but also to allow the brand new armor trimming, which has been on Java for about 3 weeks now, to come over there as well. I would love to know what those technical improvements are. Maybe there's an item limit, maybe there's the biomes are coded differently, but in either case, we won't be getting either of those things for a little bit on Bedrock, but every other feature from the snapshot to date was meant to come to the Bedrock betas. And so let me shift over from the medium salmon edition. How do people manage to play this, I hear you ask? Okay, now we're here on the Bedrock version of the update, and we can answer a lot of the big questions that you probably had. Stuff like, how do I get my hands on one of these brushes? I assume from the texture, and you can still see it right now, right? Looking at the inventory texture, as well as seeing what my body looks like while I'm holding this, there is that little ring of copper on there, which I assume would make it use copper, but no, this is the recipe instead. If you want to Oh, there's a daytime switch here. Do you want it to be daytime? There we go. Look at that. Isn't that nice? But if you want to make a brush, it is 2 sticks and then 3 string. If you will, you're effectively making a string pickaxe when you make this, which is very, very odd to say the least, but I kind of like it if nothing else. And then, yeah, once you have these brushes, you can then use them to find any suspicious sand, which does blend in somewhat with regular sand if you're not paying attention. But if you are paying attention, it's very easy to find, and you can dig through it just like this. As you can see, there is it's a wonderful thing. The key questions I had were, are there any enchantments for the brush? And honestly, no. You cannot find any enchantments on the brush, but you can dig around, you can dig around on blocks where you're not going to achieve anything if you want to. Oh, this is interesting. But yeah, you can dig around anywhere you like and you're just not going to achieve something unless you are on the suspicious sand. Digging around suspicious sand, which by the way is according to both the Bedrock and Java changelogs, found specifically around the desert well and the desert temple. The reveal last week seemed to imply it would be around the villages as well, but that doesn't seem to be the intention. And so yeah, if you find some suspicious sand, try to dig through it. It's worth mentioning if you find it inside of a desert well, do it from the outside, because is that actually suspicious sand there? It's not, is it? I'm just being stupid. If you do find suspicious sand, dig it from the outside, because while you're in the water, it'll be much harder. But yeah, when you dig suspicious sand, most of the time you don't get a drop back. It is something that you just kind of have to keep in mind that most of the time you're doing this, you're just grinding away endlessly. Like, yes, let's do this, you know? Honestly, it'd be best placed as one of those fun cuts that we like to do in YouTube videos. You know the ones, like... Well, that was a very unproductive session that resulted in a lot of holds in my world, but I did learn a couple of things. One is the fact that you can dig the block most of the way, and then you can just leave it there if you really want to. As you can see, my suspicious sand is very damaged. There is now a block in Minecraft which you can stop mining, and then just come right back to, and keep your progress in the block just like this. It's kind of odd to be able to do so. Also, if you use the brush to just break it with your right bumper, but if you use the left mouse click or the right trigger, this is what happens. It makes a sound almost like glass being broken. That can't be the end sound they're going to be used, unless maybe it is, but it's a very, very bizarre sound, and it's one I want to share with you right now, because it feels incorrect. But yeah, maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Speaking of things maybe you like and maybe you don't, I have to talk about pottery right now, because this is a brand new pot, which you can get, obviously, by combining 4 pottery pieces together, a brand new item specifically found when using the brush. So here are my 4 pottery shards that I've got. This is a prize pottery shard, this is an archer pottery shard, this is an arms up pottery shard, and this is the skull pottery shard. We put all of these things together in a kind of like a diamond formation, and we'll make a pot which has those 4 things as the 4 sides. Ignore my inventory, this is totally legit survival. There's no way it can't be, right? And you get a decorated pot. This decorated pot is quite interesting because it has all those fun pottery shards, different to the one you get if you don't use pottery shards. So what is this undecorated pot and how do you get one? That is 4 bricks together, so you can kind of make a giant plant pot if you want to, or you can make a specific pot with the 4 things on the sides. Because there are only 4 pottery variations right now, that means the possible list of things you can make with it are like, what is that, like 4 times 4 times 4 times 4? There's still a lot of different combinations of pots, but there aren't really massively unique ones just yet. That's something they'll presumably add. And another really fun thing that you might not know, if we just break the world right here a little bit, let me show you something really fun that you can do, because these brand new pots, whether decorated or undecorated, if you just put a fence on top of them, that is not how you put a fence on top of a pot. Because if you put a fence on top of any one of these pots, it will go almost perfectly inside of it, and I absolutely love this fit. It almost feels like, you know, you could then take like one of these lanterns or something. You could take basically any block and throw it on top. Like even here is a block of sand. That looks kind of nice, right? I mean, you could then like throw a cacti on top of that block of sand probably, make it a little bit better. The number of possibilities for building are massively increased in this update, not just because they give us new blocks, but because those new blocks work quite well with other new blocks. That is terrible, actually. I take back my opinion on that not being terrible. And instead I could just say like, wow, wouldn't it be fun if instead we put a sniffer on one of those? By the way, there are sniffers in this update. Have you heard of these guys? I think they sniff things. I think that's their favorite thing to do. So yeah, I want to mention that obviously there are brand new mobs in this update, including the baby snifflet. So this is how the mob will hatch naturally from an egg. Obviously, you can just use a spawn egg if you really want to, and they'll come in full size like they would of any other mob. But if you do hatch them naturally, they'll come out looking like a little snifflet. Isn't that cute? It's very adorable. But as well as having a cute little snifflet, we also have the ability for these big sniffers to find flowers. The exact mechanics on this are a little unknown right now, but for now, you just need to know that there is torch flower seeds, which can be gathered, and if you plant those torch flower seeds in farmland, it's odd to me that it's farmland, it doesn't seem right, then you'll get a torch flower eventually. Also, just have to mention, this is kind of odd, right? When you break the torch flower, you get the torch flower seed back. This is unlike most seeds in Minecraft, and just a little bit strange in my opinion. Also, when you break the torch flower, you get the torch flower as itself, which is a nice feature, I have to say, and that torch flower, if you want, can then be used to make yourself orange dye. So we have a new source of orange dye from the sniffers, and we also have the torch flower as a whole right here. However, here's an interesting point, right? Do you remember the leaks of the what looked like it was meant to be the new sniffer flower from Roger Badgerman yesterday? Those leaks are actually in the right ballpark, but they were wrong in my opinion. So how is it that Roger Badgerman got something so wrong? I think there are one of three theories. One is that he's been making it up this entire time, and he's just been really, really lucky, and this was his first missed guess. It was a bit of a, I think it's way too close to be a missed guess though. I think it's way too close for him to just guess what it looked like. I instead assume, instead of that, because it's a great theory by itself too, but I instead assume that what actually happened there, by the way, you can't actually put any of your flowers inside these pots as much as you like to. I instead assume what happened was that was an earlier development version of the torch flower. It's also possible that there are different sniffer flower that will be grown later down the line, but right now we have everything that is just about promised, minus some key, connective features. So again, how do the snippets grow some stuff? The biomes, how do you make sure they're the same on both platforms? How often will they spawn? Are they spawning the right amount? There's so many questions that have to be clarified and kind of improved upon and found for sure. But right now, we have all of these 1.20 features, and now that we can see them all together, I mean, we can't see them all together because half are on Bedrock and half are on Java, but now we can pretend we're seeing them all together. Oh, look at those lovely cherry groves again, aren't they beautiful? But now that we can pretend we're seeing all these features in the same place, what is it looking like? It's looking like Mojang has knocked it out of the park with this announcement by announcing a lot of stuff at Minecraft Live, or some stuff at Minecraft Live, and then announcing a big wave of stuff closer to the update. They can keep the hype wave going in a much better way than saying, here is a bunch of stuff you can play with in a year, and then saying in a year, here is the stuff you can play with. This is a much more exciting thing for people. I've seen so much excitement from so many angles of the community who, let's be honest, if this was all announced at the same time, would say, well, isn't it a bit small for an update? We get like one new biome, we get this brand new mob, we get like some pots and some signs that hang from walls. I mean, they're nice signs, don't get me wrong. But like, it does seem like, this is an amount of stuff that is being announced in a clever way, and honestly, power to Mojang for that. Power to Mojang for improving the desert wells, for improving desert temples, for making an update filled with very deliberate feeling features in a way that should make Minecraft better when they eventually release. I think that release date might be coming sooner than we think, but I assumed that yesterday, but I think the thing that has changed since then is seeing that not only is the cherry blossom biomes not coming to Bedrock, but also the armor trims aren't here yet. Until every feature is available on both platforms, they can't release the update because they have committed themselves to feature parity. I mean, except when it's like a command-based feature, in which case it seems to be able to go either way, but something as big as, it's huge in my opinion to be able to dye your armor with different trims. I think that is something that might be an interesting issue that might mean that we don't, again, we'll have to see how the rest of the update goes, and also, are we going to get any more feature announcements? Maybe. This might be the last intriguing snapshot of the year, or maybe there'll be other little additions here, but this is definitely the last big one for 1.20, and so that is an interesting piece of news for all of you. I hope you've all found this video to be interesting. I hope that you like looking at the updates before they come out and seeing what's going on in here. My honest impression is this is a pretty cool set of features with no theming. Like, when you see it all together, it makes way more... It's even more confusing, right? Like, how does all of this stuff tie in together? It honestly doesn't. And so is that good? I mean, according to some people, maybe. Also, I wonder, if we put more fences on here, will that look even better? Okay, so let's, like, jump on the fence. And then from here, let's, like, place another one of these up. Do you think that looks good, or do you think you should stick at one? What I do know for sure, though, is that you can subscribe if you want to see more of these videos covering the latest in Minecraft news. This one, thankfully, was not recorded on the side of a mountain, and I am so much better for that. It is a very nice warm day after the very much cold that I went through last time. And yeah, thank you to all of you who did watch the video. I know it came out at a ridiculous time, but yeah, it was a fun drive down the mountain. That's sarcasm. It was an interesting time, but I'm glad we got the news video out, and I'm glad that you're watching this video right now, and I hope to see you in the next one, because I want to play around and goof around with all these new features so bad. Don't you want to see what a new, like any other biome would look like with cherry blossom, like leaves, for example? I know I want to see that, and so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll probably, maybe I'll do that soon. But thank you for watching. Leave your questions down below if you want me to answer them for Q&A Saturday, because I'll see you tomorrow. For a live stream, I think, actually. Bye. Give you a full explanation of that. Oh god, oh god. I'll make that a problem for future me.